All right, then we will call the meeting to order. Let's start with the pledge to the flag. Mike, if you can do that for me.
I would do it for us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have agenda approval.
Everyone had a chance to read the agenda?
I have.
I have. If that's the case, I'll make a motion that we adopt the August 1 City Council agenda minutes.
Second.
We need to approve the agenda first.
That's what we're doing.
The agenda.
Like where we
As
did-
opposed to the minutes.
Yes, agenda.
Never mind.
Did you want to change that to?
I'd like to change that.
Okay.
But, is everyone happy with the agenda? So I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda as prepared for September the 6th.
I'll second.
Okay, everyone in favor, raise your right hand. Approved unanimously. All right, now we have the minute approval. Let's start with the August 1st. I guess I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes for the August 1st council meeting.
Second.
Okay, everyone in favor, please signal by raising your right hand. Unanimous. Okay, and next we have the work session which occurred on August 18th.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the August 18th work session minutes.
I'll second that. Everyone in favor of approving the August 18th work session minutes, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Okay, next we have the department reports, and I will turn this over to Miss Miranda McDowell.
All right. For the maintenance, Joey has completed his soil and erosion training for the level 1B, and he will be able to oversee the universal stair land disturbance project and their addition that they're doing. They've officially broke ground and kind of exciting. The city truck is currently out of service and the repair shop is trying to locate parts. I don't know how long that's going to be. He said he was going to start looking around maybe some of the salvage yards because everything's discontinued, so that's still in the making. We'll get that figured out. The walking trail, we've been working hard to get the walking trail completed. It is currently usable, and we have taken all the signs off earlier. And we've had a lot of walkers already on it. We do still have some finishing touches to add, but altogether the trail looks great. Big thanks to Councilman Havlin for his volunteer work throughout the entire project. And I encourage everybody to go out and take a stroll. Qualifying ended on August the 31st with 3 candidates, and Mr. Lamar Kellett, Mr. James Queen, and Miss Kelsey Real is our 3 candidates. That election is November the 8th, sorry. I got an update from Mr. Holbert this morning on the drainage project. Last meeting he presented us the preliminary drawings on the hydrology study, and he's saying that they completed the last survey on August the 30th, and Mr. Holbert has informed me that they will be able to give us an update later this week on the final drawings for that hydrology study. And that would be it.
Does anybody have any questions for Miranda?
Yeah, there's a lot of good comments on the walking trail when I was out working on it over the week. People are already using it despite the signs of
Right.
construction. Everyone seems to have really good comments to say about the bridges. And today, I had contacted the ag agent from Cherokee County, and he in turn provided a team of plant experts who went on the trail this morning and identified various plants that we have along the way, and put little names on the ribbons, and ribbons are placed on little plants. And there's way more ribbons than, my intention was to make little signs that identify dandelions from poison ivy and whatever, but I don't have that done yet, and I think that'll probably be just a name of the plant and then maybe the Latin name as well, kind of written underneath it as a subtitle for those who are interested. But there's actually a fair amount of work to be done on that, and I actually heard very good comments on the trail from the professionals, if you will, that we actually have quite a few different firms in through there. They also had a lot of invasive plants, which they were not happy with, and they wanted me to get out there and weed them all out, gave me instructions on how to do that. Like, oh my God. And they found a lot of real tiny little flowers here and there that I never even knew were there. And I don't know that will be quite that detailed, but they did come up with an idea that I think has some real merit. And that was to, instead of making a whole lineageal presentation of planting, to maybe create some focus areas where we might actually plant in some new things, some flowering trees or some flowers, to give some contrast with colors and stuff, and really have those manicured. And so they set out by themselves. That would obviously require a budget sometime down the future. It isn't something that we could do in the short term. It's something we might do in the long term. But they said we had some awesome trees too that were just really significant. And I hadn't really paid attention all the time I've been working out there, but there's a really enormous umbrella of shade, which makes it an attractive trail to hike on, actually. But we really actually have some assets there. I was quite surprised. I've just been worried about what I walk on, and the bridges I hadn't really paid too much attention to what's the plantings and stuff out there. So the notion is that it would give it a little kind of a nature educational function, if you will. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal, but school children might learn something. I could certainly. I learned about poison ivy.
I did.
We have a lot of it on the trail.
I did.
So it was interesting to have a bunch of experts go through your trail and point out the things. And I'll probably be coming back to council begging for more time and money to establish the trail further over the coming years.
But you know, the Boy Scouts would purchase, like the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts, they do have to do that on purpose for patches to go out and
Yeah.
identify stuff. So maybe that would be something that we could get some
They pointed
community
that out to
involvement
me.
in.
Yeah,
That would be a neat idea.
yeah.
And I liked your idea about the birdhouses. I think do some extra birdhouses and different things to put along the trail. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Anything, David?
I don't know, people left out there.
Okay. All right, well then I guess we will move on to old business. 6A on the agenda is the LMIG striping approval. Miranda, did you want to go ahead over that?
Sure. Well, I received 3 different quotes, and this is basically for citywide striping, any of the roads that have been striped in the past. This includes the parking spaces here at City Hall, the ones over at the maintenance building, and a list of the streets here. And I got 2 different prices, or 3 different prices. One from one company that was $10,900, and then the other company was $10,893, and then the other company was $8,063. So. I am recommending, the contract, the county, Cherokee County, like we did last time, the company that they have on contract, that's why they're able to do that price so cheap. And then I resubmitted the documents for the LMIG to switch up our project list, and that was approved by them. So we can do this, and then the remainder amount of our LMIG for this year, which will be approximately $9,000, would go towards the replacement of the pipes and finishing that project on Cherokee Avenue.
Cherokee, yeah.
Yeah, so basically it'd be an extension of last year's LMIG that we used for Cherokee and replacing the pipes on the other side of the street.
And so you've talked to the LMIG people, they'd be fine with that?
Sure.
Yeah,
Confirmed that with her last week.
okay.
And Miranda, they're gonna be willing, there's no problem with them doing the striping and pickings as well?
No,
Okay.
not a problem at all.
Do we need to vote on this?
We definitely need to vote on it, but I would like to mention that we'll need to have, Joey, there's some of the streets where the grass is kind of running out into the streets. We would need to trim that, clean that back so they can get a clean stripe in there, so.
On the edge, outside,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. But there again, this is the 2016 LMIG, so we're kind of running out of time to get this done by the end of the year.
Yeah, we need to get going.
Yeah. But we also need to take into consideration the 2017 LMIG. The application needs to be submitted by December 31st, I think it is.
So should we add that on for, like, maybe put it on a work session?
Yeah, it's
So we can
definitely
go ahead
something we
and
need
get
to
that
talk
on.
about and figure out what is a good project list for next year.
Okay.
So therefore,
All right, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve the LMIG striping?
I'll make a motion, we approve the LMIG striping.
I'll second it.
Okay, everyone in favor, please show by raising your right hand. Unanimous?
can I get clarification on which one we are approving?
The one you used last time, I guess.
The one for $8,063.40.
Okay.
That's the same one it done before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just add the dollar amount to the motion. And that, oh, and you can add a name to it, I guess, as well.
Right.
That'll
That's-
clarify who,
I just want to
how
know.
much money. Okay. Good. That'll be exciting, because that'll get the whole city kind of glowing with good striping.
Yeah, well, it'll be, basically, we'll do everything, and then we'll kind of be on a regimen that we can
Go out
continue
there,
doing
yeah.
periodically, yeah.
Great.
Next on the agenda is 6B, which is the approval of the RFP for demolition of the Marble Building. And I will turn that over to you again, Miranda.
I went ahead and did a little bit of modifications to this. If you'll notice on the front, I did the dates. And then in the back, I added a list of specifications. If you please review that and let me know if there's anything else that we need to put on here, or either anything that we need to take off. Also did a drawing in the back, kind of gives you a little bit better of an idea of what I'm talking about.
David, did you want to have that concrete sidewalk removed or left on that was next to the building and the parking?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's not wide enough to use for wheelchair, I don't think. So
Okay,
I don't see any need in having to take it out later.
yeah,
My brother would get
might as
rid
well,
of it.
but they have the equipment there to,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because it isn't very wide at all. I mean, it's in good shape, but it would be more of a hassle to add one to it than it would just a
Right.
fresh one down, I'd
Yeah.
imagine.
And it's gonna have to be sloped down to get to the bathroom area.
get the ADA
Yeah.
explanation, yeah. You might, on your list of specifications, speak to that issue, Miranda.
Everything else on here looks great, Miranda. Just if we add that on there, I mean, the detail, I like the fact that you made the list and the map, and I read over everything, and I Googled some of these documents just on Google just to see what, they had different cities and stuff like that. And I think that, I tell you what, you're putting a lot of these ones I found online to shame. The information is just all there and very clear, and I appreciate your hard work on this.
Yeah. I do too, and you did a lot better job than what David and I did.
And on the marble walkways, I'd like to, do we want to try to save any of those bigger chunks, or do we want to just do away with, can we really reuse it as one? Wondering if we want.
It would probably crack, that's the problem.
That's what I
Marble is
was
fragile, unless they're, I don't know if they could would do it with a piece of heavy equipment without chipping it or cracking it.
Yeah, they're not gonna be coming there and take a bunch of pains for something like that. They
Yeah.
gotta get done and get out.
I definitely want to
But we can
move,
let Joey go in and take some of the best
Just
stuff up.
try. I was thinking he could move the picnic table and all of that.
yeah.
I say leave that sign, the Marble Company sign in place, just because it's a little bit of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we should, and I guess we're gonna leave the stairways coming off the sidewalk
That's
until we
another
know better
question.
on how we're gonna use it. But we should, wherever there's marble chunks that we could somehow recycle, I think we should assign Joey to snatch those up. Is there anything inside the building that we'd wanna maybe give to Joey to?
Mold, lead, and asbestos.
Okay. Never mind.
There's all kinds. They was a bunch of filing cabinets in that building.
Was there? I thought they moved them out. You know what, actually, we have to check that, I think, because I think Larry had them store some stuff in there. You're right, Mr. Queen, I think so, we'd have to check that.
I haven't been in
I think there was some stuff stored in there that we had somewhere else when stuff was getting moved around, so there might be filing cabinets and some other items in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I raised the question. I know that the kitchen bathroom in there had some busted up marble, but I don't know if there was anything of value. We need to get in there and clean it out before they do any demo.
But we're also gonna have to be careful that we don't disturb anything when we do that, that's the problem.
Good point. Yeah.
I don't know that we can send Joey in there to be digging around too much in the building. That's a no-no.
Good job.
Yeah, it looks real good.
Alright, so do we want to go ahead and get a motion to approve this with the addition of the sidewalk?
I'll make a motion that we approve the RFP for the demolition of the Marble Building and consistent with the additions of the comments we made regarding the sidewalk and having Joey try to come in and pick up any marble that we might be able to recycle and store it up at the top parking area there.
I'll go ahead and second that.
We need to let our attorney look over it real good too,
Okay,
check it all out. And
good point.
make sure we didn't miss anything.
Okay, so what we could do is just amend the motion, like to accept it upon approval of the attorney?
Yeah.
Is this the one that I looked over previously, or is this is slightly different?
I'm pretty sure the only difference is the list of specifications and this and the dates.
Okay, because
The
we had
list,
looked
the
over
drawing.
it previously and compared it to some other similar documents, and it looked really
Okay.
good. It might have a few changes from what I initially saw.
Okay,
Okay.
But I can resend it and then your motion, we'll just go with that motion.
okay. All right, so everyone in favor of approving the RFP for demolition of the Marble Building, please raise your right hand. Okay, that's unanimous. All right, moving right along to new business is approval to update the Municode. And Miranda, if you want to give us up to date on that?
Yeah, I had talked to the representative at Municode, and she had sent me over, and I actually sent her a copy of all of the ordinances that we have done that are not currently listed, that I had gotten from Jeff, our attorney, and the price that she'd come back with was $3,560. And if you look on the front page, it gives you a summary of what you would be getting. We did put this in the budget for this year, so I'm just seeking for approval to go ahead and move forward to get this in the works. I think it's important that we get this caught up to date, and it does list all the ordinances that aren't on there today.
And then once we get this caught up, if we keep it up to date, it won't be as expensive as eventually,
Exactly.
correct?
She's saying that after we get this caught up, then she'll be able to put us on kind of a regimen depending upon how many ordinances that we usually have each year that we need to put on there and codify. Then she'll put us on some sort of, financial plan there.
Make a motion that we adopt the recommendations for the updating in the Municode.
I say,
Okay, everyone in favor of approval to update the Municode, please show by raising your right hand. Good. Unanimous?
That's something we put off each year, doing it over and over, we just kept pushing it back down, kicking it down. It really needs to get done. And once we get it done, like you say, then it'll be easy to just maintain it.
Right, well, right now, whenever you go on the website and try to look up certain things, you're not sure if you're getting the correct information or not because it's so far behind.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff's just not there, period. So with doing this, it'll really help out with stuff.
Next, we will move on to the adoption of the soil erosion ordinance.
This is the standard ordinance that we must adopt in order to remain our own issuing authority. We've done this in the past, we just need to re-adopt it.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the soil erosion ordinance.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion? Okay, everyone. Oh, go ahead, David, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Is Joey up to date on everything to go out and check and be able to look over all this? Good.
Yeah, he completed his training, he has his card, and he actually had to go out there today to look at Universal Stairs.
Okay. You go ahead.
Okay, everyone in favor of adopting the soil erosion ordinance, please show that by raising your right hand. Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, and next is 7C, approval to hire accountant on a part-time basis.
As you all know, Stacy Brownell was hired at the beginning of 2015 to help correct the financial books and do the bank reconciliations. Then she stopped about August of last year, and then I sought her help whenever I come on board to get those caught back up, because she was the last one that could do one correctly, or had did one correctly. So she actually got 2016 completely caught up. I would just, fiscal year 2016. I would think that we probably need her to go ahead and continue into 2017's fiscal year. She is saying that her hours would be approximately 2 hours per month. Right now she's getting is $25 an hour for two hours per month. So we just need to go ahead and, I guess, approve to hire her on as a regular thing.
Okay, now, do we have this in the budget already, or is it something we'd have to amend to put it in there?
Right, she originally was under the municipal, well, not the municipal clerk, but the city clerk line item. That's how we've been doing it. So with that position being gone, we'll just have to, when we do our budget revisions, just factor that in and put her as her own line item.
Okay. And this, when we hire, if we hire her to do this, then she counts on the audit. We had that finding about needing like an outside accountability.
Segregation of duties, which we've always had it's been a negative on us because we've not had that extra oversight. So this will be able to give a little bit more of a segregation of duties. She'll be able to check everything that I'm doing during the month. So together we work pretty well. So
Make a motion that we adopt the recommendation to hire the accountant to assist on our books.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I agree with Mayor Pro Tem, your comment on the segregation of duties issue. You know, the city has never had, it has always had that as an audit finding. And I think it'd be a major change in the policy of the city to try to address this issue by having a second person a separate independent person who looks at the books. And then it gives us a great deal of integrity, more integrity to our financial operation than what we had in the past.
And I mean, she is, before it seems like every time we called her in, it was, you know, we were 6 months or 8 months or a year behind, and she was now that she's got everything up to date. If we go ahead and approve this, then she only needs maybe 2 hours a month to come in and do everything, and that takes down the cost.
It's just like the Municode, we let that stuff go so long, and if we can get a system in place, then it's not that hard to sustain it and maintain it. In fact, I won't say it's easy, but I mean, it's a whole lot simpler. And it's cost effective for sure.
Definitely cost effective, and then it's, you know, it just adds to that extra layer, you know, oversight.
Integrity to our fiscal management, you're right, which we've never had before. So that alone is enough reason for me to want to invest in her. I think it's a really, really good recommendation.
Did you want to add anything, Dave? Okay, then we'll go ahead and place the vote to everyone in favor of voting to approve to hire Stacy Brownell as the part-time accountant. Please raise your right hand. Okay, approved unanimously.
I have a question there.
Go ahead.
Attorney, do we need any kind of a contract with this person? Or is it enough to have the council take an action?
It's enough to have you take an action. It may be a good idea if it's going to be on a regular basis and you want some sort of, her to sign on to her agreement of her hourly rate and how much she's going to do and how often she's going to do it. I mean, it'd be a very, very simple
Real simple.
agreement, but it's not necessary, but if you want something.
What does the rest of the council think?
We good. I mean, if it's not necessary, but I mean, I don't think that's what she agreed on, so I don't think she'd mind signing a piece of paper just so we can, you know, have it on record and have her come to an understanding in case someone wants to come in, you know, like a member of the city wants to come in and kind of see some proof of the agreement or whatever.
City manager, maybe you would see if you could have our council create something very cost effective, very simple, and
I mean, you wouldn't need very
right,
much
just
detail.
I can handle it.
yeah. In the past, we've not always used contracts, and it can get us into trouble sometimes, and that's what I mentioned. So, yeah, something simple, something cheap.
You know you loud and clear.
We want the dollar menu version.
Yeah.
For that rate, compared to what the accounting firms want, it's.
Yeah, that's why
We're
we're
working on that, definitely.
That's why mine wants to get locked in.
That's right, that's right.
All right, and next on the agenda is 7D, which is approval to hire temporary part-time landscape help. And Miranda, do go ahead.
Recently, well, our landscaping has fallen a little behind with a little, some of these extra projects that we've had going on. I recently had spoken to Ricky Fawcett, who was working with us last year, in regards to how much he would charge to work with us, just doing the lawn mowing, kind of taking that off of Joey's plate so that way he can focus more on the maintenance and other projects and stuff that we have going on. And he expressed his interest in the position at a rate of $15 per hour for approximately 20 hours a week. During the months of March through October, which would be grass season. We only have approximately 1 to 2 months left in the season. I think that it would be beneficial for us to get everything caught up and get some of these other things like the weed eating that needs to be done. Just a lot of the maintenance things that have gone unseen. Some of the right-of-ways need to be cleared up. I think we already have 6,000 in our budget for contract labor, so we can reallocate that or deem that for Ricky to be able to come in and do the landscaping and just do like a contract with him or whatever works best for you guys. But I think it would be very, very beneficial to us.
I'd like to make a motion that the council consider accepting a contract for Ricky Fawcett to, on a temporary basis, do lawn mowing.
Yeah, I will second that, and let's open it for discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem, comment?
Go ahead.
You know, using Ricky has some real pluses, and that is that he's already worked for the city, already knows the route, and in my perception of him, he's a very, very hard worker. And I think we wouldn't do bad by having him work for the city. I would question, and it's just a soft question, I wonder, do we need 20 hours a week? Would 12 hours, or would 15 hours, or is there a different number? And I guess we don't really know that until maybe we try them out and see what it takes. I mean,
I definitely think that that's something that can be thought about because it may not, I mean, I don't really know how much it takes to cut the grass throughout the, but he does want, he has his own business, so he kind of wants to work around his own schedule, so maybe we could set some sort of terms in place that, you know, if it's not warranted and the grass isn't growing, then we don't need you to work 20 hours a week.
Right.
You know, or I don't know what a good model is for that. But
The suggestion, maybe we would have another real simple contract put together, and it would maybe do $15 an hour, so a maximum of 20 hours. And because I presume he wants to have 20 hours committed to his current clients, maybe, I'm guessing. And so that would give us some room maybe to have it be less than 20, but it wouldn't be any more than 20.
or say like as needed basis.
Or,
I don't
yeah.
know.
That's what I think I would do. I think I would
Find
try to
something.
cap it at the 20, so that way, I mean, because Ricky is a hard worker, and I could see him out there going crazy, you know, trying to get stuff ready, getting caught up in the moment, and then we might have a week where he does 40 hours, and then, you know, that, if we can try to cap it at 20, make sure there's something that says, you know what, let's try to stick to 20 a week. That way we don't run into the problems of a whole lot one week or whatever have you. I mean, I guess it would even all out in the end, but that would give us kind of some guidelines to go by.
What, David, how many hours a week do you think the grass would?
I hadn't really watched how they do it. I'm not never here today.
I do have to say though that we had Ricky come, when my son injured his finger, we had Ricky come to our house and do it, and my yard hasn't looked that good in the 4 years I've lived there. I mean, it was phenomenal. He does a really, really good job, and he did when he worked here for the city as well.
He's always done a good job, yeah. Yeah, I think, well, I guess leave the motion the way it is, the way you've drafted it here, and try to create some flexibility in it that you think as is needed, I guess, and just work with that. Yeah. I think the other thing I would add is I think it makes some real good sense as an adjustment to our manpower needs, to allow Joey to really focus on some of these other issues, moving the marble for the demolition.
Right.
I mean, we want to put some parking down by the baseball, and there's a lot of projects that we could have him focus on that when we do have him focus on, then the lawn cutting gets lost.
Yeah, well, because I mean, the walking path, there were times where he wanted to finish working on that, but the grass was getting so out of hand, he had to stop, and this gives him, especially with this time of year, needing to get everything kind of done and wrapped up before the winter season, plus with Marble Festival coming up and everything like that, so I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. I have a motion, it's been seconded, we discussed it.
Yeah, okay, we will go ahead and vote on this. So everyone in favor of approving to hire Ricky Fawcett as a temporary part-time landscape help, please raise your right hand. Okay, approved unanimously. Alright, and The next one is 7E, which is approved change of October meeting to October 10th. And Miranda, go ahead.
In your summary, you'll see that I have the Clerks Institute, which by the way, I did get the scholarship for, which is coming up on Monday and Tuesday of next week, so we will have to close City Hall for that. In October, I also have a conference for the Government Finance Officers Association, and it's from October the 2nd through the 4th. That would be the time that we would have our October meeting, which would be the 3rd. I am hoping or recommending that we can change the meeting to that following Monday, which is October the 10th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommended change of October meeting to October 10th.
Second.
Question. So when would our work session be? If this is,
Is it October 15th? I didn't write it down.
I don't know.
Do we have a I don't have a calendar.
Yeah, it's on here. I'd like to also mention too that we have the, we need to do the millage rate in October for Pickens County.
Okay.
And so we'll need to do our first public hearing probably on that October the 10th, that first meeting in October. And then just do a special meeting during that work session to adopt that millage rate.
And the work session on for October 20th.
Okay.
All right, well, that'll work out. That'll give us 10 days in between that. Okay. All right, so everyone in favor of changing the October meeting to October 10th, 2016, please raise your hand. Approved unanimously. Okay, and the last category in the new business, 7F, is the approval to extend baseball field parking area, and that has you listed there, Miranda.
Councilman Howland and I have been looking at the baseball field parking over there, and there is an area where the mulch used to sit that we use on the walking trail. That looks like it would be a good extension of the parking for the baseball. The guys that are renting the baseball field over there are basically parking on grass anyway. There's also an area over next to the walking trail entrance that would be good to, where the easement is, to put some more gravel to it and create a little bit of extra parking. So we just need to get some sort of guidance from you guys.
How big area is it over there at the dog park with it?
Look at the back of your thing, David. I put a little
Yeah, I seen that map.
picture, but it's kind of hard to see it in.
Yeah, it's hard to tell much about it, is it?
If you drive over there, I've got some stakes put up, but it ends up a little bit different than this graphic illustration, but not too different. It basically packages about 4 and maybe you could get 6 or 5 spaces to the east of where the mulch used to be stored, but not going so far as into the septic tank area where the baseball restroom park is. So it kind of abuts it up to it. It starts to make a little bit of a turn. And if we did that, like I say, for sure you could get 4 spaces and you probably can get up to 6 spaces. But it wouldn't go so far as to extend where we would put I don't know what the correct word is, but the drainage downspout thing that collects the water that we want to pipe the water that's been draining off the baseball field. So it kind of, we would have, be kind of a there. And then, so I don't know, if I figured 10 by 24 feet, maybe 10 by 22, somewhere in there. for each parking spot, which is pretty generous, but those are SUVs typically, they need to be pretty big these days. 9 by 20 is a typical parking spot, but not anymore for bigger cars.
Yeah, and that, and a chance to, would also give room to let the kids get out the car.
That's right, right.
Taking out the person's car next to
Baseball
them.
bats and stuff.
Because I know I have been over there a couple of times, even when it wasn't really, barely had rained. And they're all parking, you know, there's not a lot of parking, so they're just parking there anyway. And it's muddy, and then it's dragging the mud all the way back up the walking trail area, all the way up to where the parking actually is, in between the top lot and the baseball field. Makes the whole thing a big muddy mess. But if we put like gravel down or something, it would make it look cleaner and give them a better basis.
If we give some edges to our boundaries to the parking and put the parking stone, whatever number that is, on there, I think it'll work out good. The other part, and in fact, Miranda had some discussion with the baseball people, and they were encouraging her to suggest the parking people should park in our easement area next to the start of the nature trail. We already have half of it parked to the west, and so do a replication of the same parking to the east. And if you drive back there now, I've laid out some 6x6s. There still need a couple more to really define it. So I don't know how big that area is, but my guess is that there's 6 car spaces maybe there. And then we would still leave a passage to the west and to the east for the lawnmower to get in and to mow the lawn to the very east to the railroad tracks, and mow the lawn on the easement down to the where we currently mow it. So it would have an access road is my point. It wouldn't all be parking because we'll probably need to get the Bobcat through putting mulch down and things like that on the one to the west. But so I'm guessing whatever the parking would be for maybe 12 spaces. And I don't know, Joey at one point said maybe 2.5 for the easement. And so I'm guessing 2.5, so maybe 5 truckloads? No, whatever you tell me. I don't know.
You're the
They
gravel
can get
man.
by with 2 loads probably.
Okay, there you go. That was exactly what I was going to say.
A little over half at one place and then another load and a half up there. To the
Okay.
other.
That's what I thought.
As long as it ain't muddy.
Yeah.
It needs to wait so it's good to dry.
And Joey would need to prepare the surfaces, level it off, and I would hope that you would come and look at it yourself and make your knowledgeable judgments on what. I just ordered twice as much stones as I needed there. That'd be a mistake.
It might take 2.5 or 3.
Okay.
All right, so my question is this in the budget? How would this be paid for?
We actually have it listed on the, in the
Capital improvement program. Yeah.
for the baseball field parking and the little street right there, which basically is that whole parking area and fixing that drainage. So we'd be creating a little bit of extra parking out of that budget.
Okay.
We still would need to do the drainage solution out of that same budget, but we've had, I think, quite a bit of money in the
But
budget.
the whole point is that like if we just, so we hire Ricky and then now instead of Joey having to, he could focus on projects like that.
Exactly, yeah, that's a Joey project.
All right, so does anyone want to make a motion?
I do.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to the council move forward with extending a baseball parking area, probably in order of trying to just 12 more spaces by locating next to the restroom in the baseball area and in the easement area next to the trail. And using the budget out of the CIP that's designated for creating parking for the baseball area.
Okay, I will go ahead and second. I'm sorry, David. Do you want to be second? Okay.
I'm voting.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion?
we're just not going to say like maybe 3 loads of GAB or something like that on it, right?
Whatever you want to say, you could add to the.
I'll go out there and look at it and measure it up, but it don't have to be 6 inches thick or nothing like that, it's not asphalt,
Right,
just 2 or 3 inches.
yeah.
As long as it's not wet when he does it. If it's good and dry, a couple of inches, maybe 3.
Okay. The only thing that we need to buy probably, or we may not need to buy, but we need to buy some either 6x6s or take advantage of those posts that are around the picnic area to give some definition to the parking. We don't want people driving into the septic tank area behind.
Yeah, in that area, I think that would be a good idea. Plus, it would probably hold the rocks in better anyway, wouldn't it?
Right, and give it a clear definition, and here you mow and here you don't. That's all a good thing.
All right. So we can go ahead and put this to the vote. Everyone in favor of extending the baseball field parking area, please show by raising your right hand. Okay, approved unanimously. Well, we are down to public comments. Would anyone out there in our big audience this evening like to take a moment to speak?
I do.
All right.
Did you
Go
want to
ahead.
speak?
Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. It's amazing, Miranda, there's somebody that did not have experience of running a city, that you're doing such a great job. You really are, absolutely. And David, I wanted to say this to you the last time, but I forgot. I have my qualms about you, but you've proven me wrong. You're a nice, honest gentleman.
Try to
I
be.
don't like your hat, but hey,
Yeah, we'll ride the ball ahead.
I'm always for you, and that's it. I'm me, he's he, and whatever. And who what's the girl that qualified?
Kelsey Real.
She did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
I think you're a good man also.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're running. And I think Kelsey would be a very good council member. And Mr. Kellett, the only thing I have to say to you is that it's amazing that you want to sit up there when you sue the city. Okay, I just find that kind of anomaly. And that's all I have to say. Wonderful meeting. It's amazing, like 2 rotten apples would do, leaving. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And you do a great job, honey.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
All right. Anyone else? Go ahead, Lamar.
Lamar Kellett, 1005 Laurel Lake Drive. Just wanted to compliment the pro tem on an excellent meeting, as well as all the council members. There were several items covered tonight that I've had some part in over the years, and was very happy to see that the city now has upgraded the land disturbance ordinance, and it's got a city employee certified to do the inspections. That's, I think that's going to make a lot more efficient operation in our handling, building new plans and so forth. And the stairway company was a prototype for Miranda to handle that every step of the way as according to the books. So thanks again for that and all the other many things you've done. And as far as Ms. Patillo's comment, I never sued the city.
Well, you did.
I think you'll find that the Brady group
Yes.
sued the city
Sure.
to take care of an unconstitutional ordinance that had been developed. So thank you very much, and enjoyed working with you. Hope to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Mr. Queen?
No, I'm very quiet.
You're being quiet today?
I'm listening.
Okay,
He's listening, he's preparing.
okay. All right, well, if there is no other public comment, do we need a motion to adjourn to the executive session?
I make a motion, we adjourn to executive session.
Second.
All right, everyone in favor, please show by raising your right hand. Okay, it was unanimous. All right, we are adjourned to the executive session.